the number 7 team in the country. It felt like they just had to take care of basic business, inviting Illinois in, take everything from them, send them home, get on about your business. It didn't go that way. 9 overtimes, and everything in the state of Pennsylvania shocked out. Hack, I'm just going to give it to you, man. Break it down today, what you saw from your boys.
Yeah, man. I mean, Clifford didn't look healthy.
Oh, interesting.
I think that was definitely a knee-jerk thing to get him out there. I don't know who made that decision, but you could tell by the way the game was called that there was some hesitancy with putting him in situations where he may have to take a hit. The one thing that we talked about before we got on here, and I'll stand behind this, I think the offensive line has done a very, very poor job being violent at the line of scrimmage. And for the amount of time that Coach Franklin has had up there to get some guys in there with a little shit to them and some want to dominate the line of scrimmage, it just really hasn't come to fruition. I think they got the backs to be able to have a halfway decent running game, and it hasn't happened all year. And really, I think today was just accumulation of all their deficiencies catching up to them. And, we talked about it. Hats off to Illinois and Bielema coming in there and just staying in the fight. And they took some punches. They didn't really do too much offensively that was fancy. The one thing I think that really hurt Penn State and that hasn't been talked enough about is PJ being hurt, big D tackle. That kid was kind of the anchor point for that defensive line. It's a really athletic defense, but they don't have a ton of size. When you get some downhill running game, they've struggled with that, even going back to the Wisconsin game. So to me, like I said, it was accumulation of all their deficiencies kind of catching up to them. And just like,
this is my thing. This is my thing. You are, I know where you sit at. But my thing is, James Franklin needs to come in there at halftime, and I'm talking about like rallying the troops. Like, what are we doing? It doesn't really matter who is out there. This was a team 2 weeks ago, Hack. If you remember, we were running on the schedule going like, damn, they got a gauntlet. But I mean, every one of them.
It wasn't Illinois.
We didn't even look at it.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't Illinois. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is the same team that just thumped Auburn. So to me, I'm sitting in this locker room going, man, what happened? And this was what's really unique. And they actually talked about on game day today about how important your backup QB is, because you hit it at, Hack, is the fact that they put Clifford out there probably injured because they're like, damn, I don't know if we can
no
get to
confidence
this game.
in number 2.
That's, oh my gosh.
Well,
man.
the thing is their number 2 is
really
starting for the Kentucky Wildcats, right?
Correct.
And that's the thing.
Undefeated.
So there's issues definitely within how the development of everything has gone and putting things in place to be able to handle depth issues and things of that nature. So I don't really know who you could put it on, but all I'm going to say is
I'm laughing at Clip because Clip's like loading the clip.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm waiting.
I'm waiting.
Can I get
I'm just sitting
turn?
Hey, I'm just sitting here. Hey, I'm just
Roman Reigns is coming out of WWE. He's just holding that belt.
Go ahead.
I'm disappointed and I'm hurt as a Penn State Nittany Lion. I'm disappointed
like
and I'm hurt.
The whole script.
That's fair. That's fair.
Disappointed and I'm hurt.
There's a dude named Mike Ryan. He is a Texas country music singer. If you want to call it Red Dirt, that's fine. He's got this song called "Dancing All Around You." And you strike me as a guy that would really appreciate that song. But I think it applies to this situation.
Dancing.
If you're gonna play, here's the deal. If I was an SEC guy, I don't know much about the Big Ten, but I do know this: if your ass is gonna compete in the Big Ten, you better be able to play offensive line. If your ass is gonna win ball games at Penn State, I know I play with a bunch of dudes in Europe, in the league, all over the place. All over the place. Kurt Warner wasn't no damn journeyman quarterback. I was a journeyman quarterback. 2 years in Europe. I play Penn State linemen everywhere. I don't care if they were big, small, white, black. I don't care where they were from. They were nasty son bitches.
Yep.
Hey, man, you said it. You went right through all that. That's all pretty. But when you hit that offensive line, they want to be physical. Whoa. Come on, man. You got to give me more on that. Are you kidding me?
No, Clint. Clint. Look, he's worried about retweets right now. He's got a show. We got to stick to our faithful.
Come on, man.
Listen, man.
He's pushing the button.
Straight up.
I don't know.
Penn State is a blue collar. Penn State's a blue collar.
Come
school.
on.
The Big Ten is a blue collar physical conference.
Yep.
Point blank. Traditionally speaking, that's what they hang their hat on. That's what everybody does. Ohio State does it every year. Michigan's doing it this year. They haven't done it traditionally. They haven't done it in the past few years. They've done it in the past. The dogs of the Big Ten have hung their hat on being physical. Penn State has had it for
decades,
35, 40 years, going back to it. It hasn't happened since James Franklin got to Penn State. Up front, they haven't played with a tenacity and a nastiness after the sanctions, when all the excuses of depth and getting guys in there and all that stuff. He's had now 3 or 4 recruiting cycles. And to me, these guys just haven't
hold
out
on,
up
Hack.
front to be able to command.
I would push back a little bit, and all respect to you as a Lion. This year's offensive line, don't let that paint the whole James Franklin run, because remember, they had a kid named Saquon Barkley who was coming downhill. He wasn't moving humans on his own.
I'm going to keep it a beam with you, though. I'm going to keep it a beam with you, though. That kid was a generational talent. He was a generational talent,
but they were coming downhill on Ohio State, Michigan State, all those teams. That showdown in Columbus that year was the 2 top 5 teams. This year's offensive line, to me, it's a sore spot, but I wouldn't say the whole duration, because Penn State, it's not like they're a passing program.
Name an All-American Big Ten name an All-American that's played the offensive line at Penn State, and then go back and look at it. How many of those guys have had All-American guys up front in the history of Penn State, traditionally speaking, up front? All-Americans. Name an All-American from Penn State in the last 6 years. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Let me call Chris Felica real quick.
Hey,
where's the Bear when we need him? Where's Bear when we need him?
We live on. Hey, Bear, we're live on. I'll call you back. I'll call you right back. Chris Felica said there's been a couple.
So listen, there's guys up there. There's guys up there, and like I said, it's hard. You can't sit there and because of everything that happened up there with the sanctions and the depth issues. There's a period of time where that's gone. But I'm saying in the last 3 years with James, 2-3 years, you've now had the opportunity to recruit guys and get guys up there. You're winning. Everything's going the right way. You have zero excuses to not get guys up there that can get the job done up front. And to me, they haven't had it. Haven't had it.
I see your point on the O-line, and then I go to the quarterback room, and you already made the point, Hack. When he was healthy, he wasn't always a consistent passer. Now, he was a reliable playmaker, but Clint, you know the difference. Dudes can make plays, pull the ball down, scramble, get me in and out of a bad play. But on 3rd and 12, can I count on you? Can I count on you on 3rd and 12? I mean, they got us matched up. Can you be the difference maker as a passer? Okay, so we know what he is. Then Bryce touched on it. Their number 2 is at Kentucky. Where's the development? 3 is now 2, and we saw what happened in Iowa. We had 2 weeks to get this rascal ready. They did not trust the youngster to host Illinois at home. We got the gauntlet coming in front of us. So they put in Clifford. I don't even know what percentage you'd put him at, Hack. Not 100. And then we still couldn't get past Illinois.
But here's the deal, G. I agree with everything that both of you guys are saying, but here's the deal. What year is this for Franklin, Hack?
5, 6,
14. 5? He was 14 was his first year.
So golly, he's sitting on 8. He's sitting this year 8, right? If my math is right.
7, 8.
I mean, hey, year 8 in. If you're not in college football, man, if you can't identify a quarterback every year and develop those guys, to where you don't put yourself in a position where you get your starter hurt and then your backup goes in there and looks like he's never played football before other than being a good athlete. And your offensive line doesn't have that dog in them across the board. To me, it's one of them deals like at that point in time, we can point, well, the O-line coach, or well, there's transfers, or well, so-and-so got hurt. But developing quarterbacks and having a mean-ass offensive line, that goes through a depth chart, man. In my opinion. Like if I got I'm going to tell you I'll speak from my perspective.
If you're a GM, if you're a head coach, that's how you're building your team.
Hey, heck, if I was James Franklin right now, and my starting quarterback went down against Iowa, and I trot a kid out there that looks like a deer in headlights when he takes a snap.
Bad.
Yeah. That ain't on a kid. That's on me, man.
Yeah,
you can recruit as many quarterbacks as you want a year. And when you got that Nittany Lion flag flying outside, you roll out the red carpet. You got the upper hand. There is no reason, absolutely no reason to not be able to develop too deep on the quarterback quarterback depth chart, guys you can depend on.
But I got to talk to you, Clint, and people at home. Penn State had that guy. They groomed him, raised him. They found him in high school. They got him up there. His name is Will Levis. In the offseason, now that the portal, you can move for any reason. He was happy at Penn State. They loved him at Penn State. Kentucky reached out. Come down and lead us. You want a ball in the Big Ten? Clifford is our guy. I'm 2 here. I can be 1 over there. That's not on Penn State. That's just how the market is moving. So in the spring, if your guy hops up, or the summer, and he says, you know what? I can't miss on this SEC opportunity. I can lead now, or I can keep being the number 2 guy here. Coach, I'm riding. Good luck. And out he goes. That was my number 2. They had him for 3 years. They had Clifford. They had a succession plan, and the market took their 2. If you go to any team in the country and yank their 2 off the team and throw him in as a starter someplace else, a lot of people are going to be in the same hole Penn State is right now.
Here's the thing, though, George. Penn State has had 3 offensive coordinators. Clifford's been through three or four offensive coordinators since he's been there.
That's true.
So to your point, I understand the market, right? If Clifford goes in the summer, now you got all training camp. You had all season. You had a bye week. And I get it. I've been in the situation. I understand who gets the reps and how they get it. But you got however many months that is up until this point to get a guy ready.
Thank you.
And they didn't do it. But I will give the excuse to saying that there has been so much turnover, right? So now you got a new guy calling plays from last year. You're getting your starter all the reps you can get because he's got to get familiarity with him. And there's an issue there with all that. So the market didn't help it. And I think also the amount of turnover that happened within this coaching staff has not helped it. And that was just the perfect storm, man. That was the perfect storm that screwed everything up.
This is my thing though. You cannot, to your point, you cannot have a guy go through spring, summer, 100%. And fall camp and go, I just don't know if he has it in him. You got to be able to know if to kick and throw the ball. Right. Development aside, to Clint's point, executing the offense is one thing. Being able to throw is a whole other thing.
Yeah,
and if I'm sitting here looking at my guy going, man, my guy can't even hit a 5-yard hitch route without struggle busting, my eyes are going somewhere else and going, hey, who's the number 2 that we can pick up? Oh, yeah, Greg May Chevrolet up here in Pennsylvania. How about you throw a couple dollars to this backup QB, get him in this system, and then that way I know who I've got taken care of, because what we have seen is that if you do not have a quarterback, you do not have a team. And we already know what has happened in this transfer portal. If you don't get it done in week 1 and week 2, you're out. I got to go somewhere else. Yep. That's just you do not have the luxury anymore, or the luxury anymore of struggling. That ain't happening anymore.
But let's be honest. Hack, Clint, Bryce, as starters in the quarterback room, you could look around the room and say, damn, I like the number 3 guy. You cool. We gonna ride wings later. But you've had guys in the room that when they finally get that at bat, they squeeze that shit down to sawdust. They don't know what they're doing out there. Sometimes it's on the man. Yes, we're holding the system accountable. We're holding the program accountable. We're holding the staff accountable. But if a guy goes down there and pisses straight down his leg, you've been in practice. We have invested meetings in you. You got to step forward. You got to come on. You got to come on.
I got a question for you, G. I got a question for you, G. You've lived in the quarterback space, a well-respected life in the quarterback space. If I gave you 4 years to recruit America with a top 10 program on your chest, you can walk in anywhere you want, and you're down to the final two with damn near any quarterback you want to recruit. You gonna tell me in 4 years you can't be too deep that can go out there and do better than you saw that backup do against Iowa a couple weeks ago? If I'm wrong, back me up. I'm good, but you tell me. I can do better next year.
So, all right, respectfully, you're wrong, but not because you're wrong, but it's because the mentality of today's kids, and now I sound like some kind of old man, is different.
It is.
So, Clint, if I go out, I have a warlord as my starter. I have an up-and-coming alpha as my 2, and I come to your neighborhood and get the best kid in your city, and I say, listen, you got a scholarship to Penn State. He looks in my quarterback room and says, ain't no easy route to getting there. Those dudes are 1 and 2 years older than me. That means I got to wait to get my opportunity. I ain't coming there. So you're not, and so any other situation, if my 2 quarterbacks aren't sitting in that room, I get that guy, no problem. But I'm not gonna skip over the 2 dudes I have in the building. So then I gotta go down a tier. Who else wants to come in here and compete?
What did Oregon do? What did Oregon do?
In terms of what?
Going to get a quarterback.
Oh, they hopped.
They went East Coast. They went. That's what I'm saying that you do now because of the environment that you're in and what you're talking about. My eyes are not only downstairs in high school. I'm scoping 100%. I'm scoping every
other
year.
teams.
Yeah.
Other teams.
But guys, we're talking. And I know we got to move on, George. But I mean, I understand the dynamic of the portal, and I understand the dynamic of young kids right now, and I understand that if we're talking about like a school that's recruiting 5-star on top of 5-star on top of 5-star on top of 5-star, and there's a traffic jam at the top. All I'm saying is there's no excuse for the extreme of what is going on at Penn State. Does it happen? Sure. But if you lose one guy to the portal, should the gap between your starter and your second string be a guy that can't function in a basic game plan versus an older player that gives you a chance to win a national championship? Should the gap be that big? I mean, to me, I feel very confident that I could close that gap is all I'm saying from a development standpoint.
And before we jump, Clint, to your point on the merit of the question, you're right. But if you earned your way to Penn State as a scholarship player and you're in here now and you made every meeting, you made every lifting session, you took every piece of coaching you could possibly get, and you've been here now. That kid's not a true freshman. He's like a sophomore, I think, right, Hack? You've been there now at least 2 years. You can get around campus. You can go in an O-line meeting and know what they're talking about. You know what your quarterback coach expects. And you're supposed to come to games with the today could be my moment mentality. Don't come there and chop it up on the sideline and yuck it up and looking up in the stands because it's Iowa. Keep your mind ready. And when they do call your number, at a minimum, you should be able to get us out of the huddle, off the line of scrimmage. We don't need it. You can't run what Clifford does, but you got to at least get us down the runway. So some of that has to sit with the man himself. Some of that's got to sit with the man himself. So this is a awkward timeout, but we got to call this timeout. We're going to move from performing and having balls when you're out there to keeping them clean and manscaped. We're just going to just jump to it. Dang it,
That's a great jump. There you go. So, ISO, play one.
And Clint, Hacken, and Bryce, be ready because you know I'm dishing on this. Support for today's episode of After Dark college football, field of 12, comes from Manscaped, the world leader in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped has just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.10 Hackenberg. It's a sleek, well-designed, and precision-engineered trimmer, and I got to tell you, I was blown away by the performance. The way Manscaped engineered the ultimate growing and body trimmer is simple. They focused on intelligent functionality and providing the comfortable grooming experience. The Lawnmower 4.0 Hackenberg was developed with the trademark skin-safe technology, which includes a cutting-edge ceramic blade that reduces snags and nicks. Right, Bryce? You need to be confident in any tool you use on the old family jewels. Manscaped, as held up there by Clint, features the Lawnmower 4.0, also has a 4000K LED spotlight, so you can see what the hell you're doing.
Yep.
An attachment that allows you to change the length of your trim, and a wireless charger. Most importantly, you want to make sure you're not using the same trimmer on your nuts as your face. That's just nasty.
Can't do that.
So head on over to manscaped.com where you'll get 20% off, free shipping with the codes. I'm going to give you those codes right now. Field of 12 after dark, put in 20 dark, all caps, for your 20% off and free shipping. So Manscaped, handle your business. As a future user of Lawnmower 4.10, trust me, I will come back and tell you that my balls feel great. Thank you.